Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Plants. This is a super random video today. I want to take my ZZ plant out of the pot. This is about 2 years old. It hasn't been repotted or any of the soil change. So I kind of want to take it out of the pot, just look at the root system as I'm quite curious as to how it looks. Also a few stems, as you can see, right here, a few stems have snapped off in the past, so I kind of want to just take it out of the pot and maybe put it a little bit lower in the soil, as some of these branches are really kind of leaning over. So if I put it a little bit lower in the pot, as long as the roots can accommodate that, then it should help support these stems a little bit more because they're just kind of flopping over. So yeah, super random video. I can provide some care tips along the way, but I'm just going to literally take this plant out and see what we're dealing with. One of my favorite things about this plant is actually the pot. It's just such beautiful, vibrant colors. I think I picked this up from Winners for like 30 bucks. I have a couple of them floating around with different sizes, shapes, and colors. Ooh, okay, I'm busting up some roots here. So I'm going to lay it down. Again, this is pretty messy, so I'm just gonna lay it down and then just poke the bottom here. I put a little stone in the bottom so the soil doesn't fall out. Oh, geez. Okay, so I can already tell that I made this a long time ago because I put rocks in the bottom. I don't do that now, but I wanted some, I guess, an extra layer of drainage, so I put some rocks in. So I'm glad I took this out. Let's take a look at the roots. Okay, I just flipped it up back on its... Ooh, look at, oh my goodness. Look at those roots. Okay, so that's probably why it's not growing anymore. It is super root bound. Okay, that's a little unexpected. I did notice that this plant wasn't pushing out any new growth recently. I think last year in the fall it pushed out maybe one stem, but this is a good example of taking your plant out of the pot when it's just not performing like it should be. It's springtime right now, it should be pushing out some new growth, but obviously it is totally root bound, so it's not receiving enough nutrients and energy, water, that sort of thing, to accommodate the new growth. Whoops, I got my little stick. There, that's better. So yeah, I'm going to have to look for a larger pot, something a little bit larger than this one, which I'm kind of upset because I really like this pot. Like it's one of my favorites. There's that tent again, don't mind that. So yeah, I'm going to have to look around and see if I can find another pot for this and try and untangle some of these roots as best as I can. Okay, I found a couple different options, but I just want to show you this original pot that it was in here is 8 inches. And typically when you repot a plant, because it has outgrown this pot, you want to go basically one size larger. So that is typically a 10-inch pot. So when comparing this pot, which is 10 inches, whoops, it looks massive compared to the original pot, and I thought I would have to get something smaller, but this one is the appropriate pot. But I wanted to use another colorful pot, and this one's just a little bit too large. It's 12 inches or 11 or so. So this one is a little bit too large, so I'm going to use the terracotta for now, and maybe once it outgrows this one in a couple years, I'll set this one aside and save it to repot it in a colorful pot again. I just absolutely love these colors. So I'll be using ProMix's Premium Tropical Plant Mix. I'm just gonna dump some soil in my little mini Amazon plant tray, container, tarp, whatever you wanna call it. All right, so I'm just going to add like a cupful of perlite into the soil, just kind of mix it in and see the consistency. Something like that I think will be okay. Okay, so I'm gonna add maybe like an inch or two of soil in the bottom. And what I typically do, oops, there's some rocks in there. What I typically do is just find a small little stone just to cover up the drain hole. This prevents any soil when you do water it from basically coming out the bottom of the drain hole, as it's quite a large one. A lot of people use like a little mesh, plastic mesh down there as well, but I just grabbed a rock from outside, put it over the drain hole. It does not plug or block it. Make sure you obviously use a stone that doesn't do that, and just fill in the soil to the desired level. Do not add rocks to the bottom of the pots. I used to do that. It does not, there's obviously different opinions out there, but I find it does not help with drainage. Just make sure you have a suitable pot with a large enough drain hole. Now for the roots, I'm just going to try and lightly untangle it, maybe poke away some of the soil as best as I can. I don't think there's really any proper way of doing this. Just do the best you can not to damage any of the leaves, stems, and just loosen it up a little bit. You're probably going to damage some of these smaller roots, but just as long as they're not encircling anymore, something like that should be okay, just so it can search out the moisture in the pot. Okay, so this is the height. Like I said, I'll get it as close as I can, but there's the edge. I want it seated a little bit lower so I can add some soil on top and around the edges here. I do have quite a bit of soil to fill in, so I might have to replenish the little basket thing. I don't even know what this thing's called, little tarp. I'll be definitely adding some more soil in, so let's fill in the sides and pack it down kind of lightly as we go. I won't bore you with the entire process, but as I fill it in, I'm just going to provide some care tips as well. So right now I have mine, I would say, in a medium light area. These are kind of classified as that low light, but again, they do quite well in medium and bright indirect light. Obviously no direct sunlight. And they do grow quite well when given more light. Just like any houseplant, if you give it more light, it grows a bit faster. So yeah, I'm just going to pack down the soil lightly as I go. And I guess in regards to watering, only water it when basically you can't remember the last time you watered it, and then just check the stems for a little bit of wrinkling. If you do overwater it, or if the soil stays too wet, it will get root rot. You'll see some of the stems and leaves turning yellow. They may actually get a little bit mushy and just kind of, I guess, rot and die back. So these can be or are easily overwatered. So make sure that you pay attention to how much water you give these guys, which is not much at all. They store a lot in the stems as well as in the rhizomes in the roots. So they are good at conserving water, but it'll definitely let you know when it needs a good thorough soaking. So I'm trying to push some of these branches upwards here and support it so it doesn't kind of flop over. I'm gonna have to add a little bit more soil in my tray here, so I'll do that in a second. What else? We did watering, soil, make sure it's in a well-draining mix, something that doesn't hold on to too much moisture. I will fertilize these in the spring and summer months, so when it's actively growing, I'll use just a generalized Miracle-Gro 20-20-20 balanced formula. I've had them in many other videos, so if you've seen my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. I'll just mix it up with water, and I will water it as per normal. So if I'll wait till it needs a good thorough watering, mix in some fertilizer, and then that way it doesn't get overwatered. So almost done filling it in. Just going to, again, continue to go around the pot, giving it some fresh soil. The, I guess, nice thing about putting new fresh soil in is I won't have to fertilize it for, I think it says about 3 months. Most commercial soils come with fertilizer already in the soil, so you don't have to fertilize for, it'll tell you right on the package, for up to 3 months, and I'll show you right here, feeds for 3 months. So don't worry about giving it fertilizer. If you do, you'll probably burn the roots. So whenever you repot a plant, just make sure that you give it some water, give it a good bright spot, but don't give it any fertilizer, or at least check the package just to make sure there isn't any already in the soil. Okay, I got the table cleaned up a little bit, and although I wanted it in one of those colorful pots, I'm pretty happy with this terracotta look. So that's going to be pretty much it for this repotting video. It was super unexpected. It was such a random video, but like I said, I'm glad I took it out of the pot. If you have any comments or questions about anything I've done in this video, please leave it down below. Otherwise, thanks again for watching this video. Thanks for all the support. I really appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Bye.